Alright, yo, so we got through day 5 of the Bankroll challenge and it kind of kicked our ass, I gotta be honest. It bent us down and gave us a good old-fashioned British spanking. And honestly, it doesn't feel too bad, guys. It was the worst I've run in a very, very long time. I'm kind of happy that I got it over with on 10-0/5-0. And I hope that the people watching saw that my spirits weren't dampened, that even though I'm emotionally invested in this Bankroll challenge, that doesn't mean that I have to be emotionally invested in the micro variants going up and down in the stakes. And we're just going to build it back up because you don't run that bad for a long period of time. It's just mathematically improbable. So we're going to grind back up today. There are a few things that I think that I could have done better yesterday, and this is what I want to try and turn the video into, is that even if you feel like you've run bad for a session and that's the reason that you had a downswing, you can utilize that negative energy, that heavy energy that you have inside of you that it creates when you start downswinging, and turn it into analysis or critical energy, critical as opposed to judgmental. And that's what I'm going to try and do today, despite not having too much heavy energy myself. This is what I did when I was grinding up in my poker career, and this is what I've always encouraged people to do, is to, instead of turning the spotlight around on the world and casting your judgment out on the world, casting the judgment internally and saying, hey, I did this wrong, and I'm going to do this better next time. So what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? Quite a few things, actually. So yesterday was a pretty brutal day for me physically. I woke up and had the shits, and I went and tried to meditate it away in Hyde Park, got on the tube, and I was so close to throwing up. And I meditated, and I just didn't feel like I usually do after a long meditation. I've got some really, really good meditation techniques, by the way, I'm going to share with you guys. I've learned it from the ancient traditions of the world that have been floating around for millennia. The Inca people specifically really seem to, I'm going to use the word, I'm sorry guys, resonate with me. And man, that shit really cures you. If it works well with you, get rid of that heavy energy, because we're not designed to have all that energy built up inside of us. We're not meant to be anxious, we're not meant to be depressed, and it's meant to just flow right back into the earth. So I was feeling pretty shitty, and I spoke to my nutritionist about it. I was like, what could it be? Like, I've stuck to my diet so perfectly. I've had this in the morning. I've been doing a supported intermittent fast. I've been doing keto in the morning and then some carbs in the afternoon, just like you said. We're getting all the supplements on. We're getting everything perfectly aligned. And he was like, all right, what have you had yesterday to eat? And I was like, this. Oh, and the salad dressing. Took a photo of it. Pretty innocuous label. And he said there are like 3 or 4 things that are in there that's just like eating poison. And oh my god, guys, the amount of shit we put in our bodies. So what should I have done there? I probably should have taken the day off. I was feeling pretty shitty. I didn't need to grind. I just felt like I wanted to grind because I'd managed to do it every day and I didn't want to break that record. So I grinded and I was feeling pretty low. I still had some energy left. I had a coffee. And 2 or 3 hours in, running pretty bad, and I was like, yo, you know what, guys, what I could do is I could stop soon, or I could have another coffee now, and I could power through until early in the morning. And I let the chat decide, and obviously the chat wanted me to power through, and that was very silly of me. I knew they were going to say that. Part of me really wanted to just keep playing. I do love the grind. I really enjoy this stuff. I know it's like I'm mega rolled for it, but it's still exciting for me, and twitching is just like even though it's a lot of energy exerted, it's also energizing in a way. And so that was another mistake there, guys. And the things to take away from here are, you don't need to play every day. If you're not feeling it, if you're not feeling physically well, work out why. Don't just accept the fact that you're not feeling physically well. If you've got fuzzy head, guys, if you've got fuzzy head, that is your body telling you, yo, you're putting something in me that I don't like. Whether it's drugs, whether it's diet, gluten, dairy, for me, those are the 2 killers. And lots of other things as well. Often something like soya can do that to you. But we'll get into that another time. I've got a nutritionist coming on a podcast that I'm going to do, which is going to be sick. Speaking of podcasts, I got invited on Joey Ingram's podcast to speak about fuck GTO. GTO's got to go because he seems to be kind of on board with that despite his ironic t-shirts and tank tops. And speak about LiveSpeed, about my charity, and see what else comes up. I'm sure I have some real interesting topics, and I'm happy to go on his podcast now as opposed to, I mean, I was happy before when I first did it, but I was a lot lower energy there. I was a lot less articulate. I was still in my poker grind. I hadn't been socializing much, and now I feel like he's such a high energy person that it's nice that knowing that I can like match it. I'm going to put him in some tough spots. I love putting people in tough spots when we have podcasts or when we have conversations on, and we're going to post them. Ask him about himself, just because he's an awesome person. He's a very interesting person. So that's going to be sick, guys. Other updates. The other thing that you can take away from the session that I had, when I hit 170, I moved down straight away, and that's what I said I was going to do. I didn't feel bad about it. I didn't have any ego about wanting to keep battling, and I know that it's a very simple thing to be able to say, but I've seen so many people not be able to move down. Please take my advice. Make yourself some limitations for your bankroll management. Mine is move up at 20 binds, move down at 17 binds. So let's say 10 and L, move up to 10 and L when you get to 200, lose 3, 170, down again to 5 and L, and that's okay. Sometimes that'll happen a few times. Sometimes you go up once and that'll be it. Whether you want to take my bankroll management advice or not, that is a very aggressive way of doing it. There are more moderate ways of doing it, and you have to feel comfortable that you can crush the stake below and the amp just run good. But I do advocate for an aggressive bankroll management to all my students, and I think that is one way that you're going to get a lot better. If you keep getting your ass kicked back down by the stake above, just keep learning, keep playing, and eventually you'll get them. Hopefully. So what else? I've been in contact with a company that I'm going to be starting up my website for. I've been thinking a lot about the content. I really want you guys to tell me what kind of content there is. I could do tournament hand histories. I could review the whole of my Scoop 1.2 million win. I could go over all of the big wins I've had online, check out my chart scopes. Pretty sick. I could go over live tournament hand histories. I'm not going to do live tells. I'm probably going to save live tells for just like maybe if some people in the site kind of stick out to me, maybe like 5 to 10 people, might do like a workshop with them and offer them a staking deal, because the lifetime information I have is just a bit too valuable. Shout out to Lifetails, made me 7 figures a lifetime. It's, oh my god, they're so good. And lots of people don't think they exist. Pretty funny stuff. They're often the people with the biggest Lifetails, by the way. And I've also been in contact with a media company. They're going to be doing all of the highlight reels, a bunch of other stuff, helping me edit these videos, make them a lot more professional. As I'm sure you guys have noticed, I'm not the best at that kind of stuff. So that's going to be pretty sick. We're gonna be putting a lot of work in. I've already been going through all of the videos and marking where I want them to take an excerpt out, where there's like a good rant, we talk about a good topic, a fun hand, an interesting hand, I go for some strategy, stuff like that. So I've put a hell of a lot of hours into this thing already, guys, and do not discount me from crushing it still just because we had one bad day. It's going to be a sick one, and I can feel a good one coming. I'm going to be back up to 10 and L today. I'm protecting it. We'll see, but should be sick anyway. Alright, peace out, guys. I'm thinking about doing more hand history reviews as well. I've had a lot of people send me hand histories. People keep sending it kind of just like brag hand histories. There was one I found today that seemed like a really good one. So if you do want your hand history to be sent, tweet at me or message me on Instagram and send a boom player. I'm not going to do other stuff because boom player is just so sexy in comparison to the others. And other than that, I could do just ideas for content, and you can tell me what you want in the chat, in the messages, comments, whatever they're called. I'm not so YouTube savvy. You can tell me whether you want me to speak about lifestyle behind poker, the mentality behind poker, specific concepts that you struggle with, specific parts of the poker strategy that you struggle with, parts of your own thought processes that you've had that you kind of realize are a bit toxic now, hashtag GTO, and anything along those lines. And I I can do it, guys. I'm willing to give some of the power here from the totalitarian regimes that other people tend to have with their websites. I'll turn it a tiny bit more democratic and let you guys decide what you want to see. Try and make it educational for yourself instead of entertaining. I think that is one of the key points that I should be pointing out to you guys when you're watching this stream. First of all, be mindful. Always be thinking, why did he do that? What is it about that? Because I'm not explaining all my actions, but I am giving you a very large database of pretty cool shit you can do. Apart from being mindful, you should always be not tempted by entertainment, because you have two options here when I say, hey, do you want this or this, or what are you gonna watch, this or this? And this is a concept you can take into your life, into your poker career, into everything. When you have one option that is short burst amount of fun but doesn't have that longevity, doesn't have the progression of your life, and when people are voting, I want you to play spin and goes, that might be a case of that. Or you have another option, which is educational, less fun in the short term, but also intellectually stimulating and is going to progress you as a person or progress you in your poker career. And this will come up everywhere in life, guys, not just in poker. Try and not be the person that gets sucked in by the short term. And this is something I'm going to speak about a lot. The short term versus long term human biases really do run rampant when they're deciding that the short term, eating that Big Mac burger or having that cigarette is more important than the long term of your life. And it's just one of those things that you can also bring into poker. And I'll speak about it a lot more, but food for thought. And guys, I'll see you in probably a few hours on the streets of 5 and out. Peace out.